Hi everyone, it's now a month after lockdown. I know we're all terribly missing our golf, but I thought we'd just drop around and we'll do a quick update on what's happening around the club and keep you up to date. So starting off back on the 11th of April, it was our 125th year celebration. As you're aware, we were in lockdown at that stage, so we were unable to have any celebration, which we were planning to have on that weekend. We will postpone that now, and that will be once we get back into normal mode, and we'll celebrate that night. It was quite ironical that when the club originally started, that there were only 2 people, and now here we are celebrating the 125th year. We're celebrating with none, so it was quite interesting. But we'll be back to celebrate that day definitely. Just to let you know, the board have met. We had our first virtual meeting last week, which was quite interesting. So we got through quite some detail that we needed to cover, and no doubt I think we'll be probably meeting virtually for the next foreseeable few months. As most of you are aware, we had to lay off around about 45 staff once we went into lockdown. We still have 3 staff working. So we've got Jeff, our superintendent, out on the course, and Jaden's out there with him, who are working 3 days a week. And we also have Gary Fry. So Gary's here, he's working 2.5 days a week. So keeping everything up to date here. So we know Gary's been quite busy trying to get some projects finished off, but also a couple of new projects started, and keeping abreast of what's happening with all the government regulations that are changing and the new staff JobKeeper program. So we'll move on now. We're going to have a quick chat to Gaz and get an update of what's happening there. Now Gaz, well, here we are in a very unfamiliar scenario here with a very open, we could use it for putting, couldn't we? We could have a putting court. Yeah.
We could, if we're allowed in here.
We just want a quick update on what's actually going on. So can you give us a bit of an update on what's happening with the driving range?
Driving range, we have the electrical works starting this week, hopefully. Internally, we've got some internal works to do first. So they're due to come tomorrow. We've also commissioned Nat Twaits to build 2 ends for it, which again, hopefully starts this week. That'll only take probably 3 or 4 days to complete.
So that's the 2 external ends on the
2 external ends, yeah, which will allow the feed into the roof for the lights as well to be proper as it should be. So yeah, so that hopefully will be up and pretty much done by the time we're back, depending when we're back. But over the next few weeks, that should all be finished.
So what are they doing electrically wise? What are they putting over there?
We're going to have lights inside it, so motion sensor lights as people go in. We'll have some lights to project out into the driving range. They won't obviously floodlight the driving range, but they'll go out 100 metres or so people will be able to get an idea of where the ball's heading off to and use it effectively at night. So and capacity at some stage for ball dispensing, that sort of stuff, and some training stuff for Dave and PowerPoints for general use over there. So yeah, it'd be good. And we'll also have a light, like a street light, to make sure people don't go over the bridge and in with the trolls when they go out there.
So it'll be a lot easier. We won't have to be running PowerPoints over the
that's
path
right.
anymore. That'll be a great little start.
Exactly.
What's happening with the clubhouse redevelopment?
We're still in consultation with our design girls. We've got some feedback from them, and the board have at this stage agreed to move forward with initially painting and recarpeting. We're just getting some final quotes on that. We would hope to do that while we're in lockdown, and then progress beyond that to some new furniture and hopefully some redevelopment of the kitchen and a members space. Some of that will be subject to obviously funding, which will require member approval. But generally we hope to knock the basics over quickly.
Yeah. No, it's good. It'll be nice to fresh start when we get back. So
It's
if it all happens in time.
Yes.
And I know the last thing that I wanted to have a quick chat to you about was one of probably the hardest things that you've probably ever had to do with when we went into lockdown, and we had to, I suppose, finish up over 45 staff. And
it's never easy. It's not the first time I've had to put off lots of people, unfortunately, in my working life. But yeah, it was a tough day to tell everyone they didn't have any income for a while. But thankfully, yesterday we registered for the JobKeeper arrangements the government put in place, which I think is a great thing. And 36 of our staff will be eligible for that. So we have to commence paying that next Monday on our pay run to ensure we get reimbursed for that and backdate it to the 30th of March. So next pay, our eligible employees will get a minimum $750 less tax per week for 4 weeks, which is fantastic. It also gives us the capacity to bring them back and do a few tasks if we need to, particularly as we get ready to gear up for opening again, back out into the course, which I think will be the first thing back, and then a few things to do around here. Yep. So yeah, it's good. It'll get them out of their lounge rooms and out of their beds.
Yeah, I know there's quite a few who are quite bored at the moment.
Oh yeah. We've had a couple of issues come up since we've been closed. We had a couple of freezers fail, unfortunately, and lost quite a bit of food, and we had a couple come in and clean all that out, and they were more than happy, I think, to come and help and just get out of the house. So it'll be good. It'll be good to offer people some tasks just to break up what is, I know, for quite a few of them, because I've run them all, but it's a fair bit of monotony. But you know, it is what it is. We're all stuck there, and it's life. I mean, I guess this perspective, you know, we've got Anzac Day coming up this weekend, and I listened to a bloke yesterday talking about his imprisonment as a Japanese POW, and I thought, you know, we've got a pretty easy. Well, yeah, one of my uncles was one of them, and every day he was hit over the head with a shovel. You know, I get a fair bit of thumb pressure on the back of my head every day, but it's not a shovel for that. So, you know, it's tough, but it's been tougher for a lot of other people, and I think that's what we need to remember.
Yeah, and I know, Wally, we're all looking forward to getting back and playing golf, but we still are under the government restrictions, which the state of Victoria doesn't allow it yet. So as soon as something changes there, well, no doubt we are talking about putting plans into place of how we're going to structure that. So
we've got two of the guys out working 3 days a week to make sure the course is as good a state as we can keep it, given the restrictions, given our funding restrictions, but making sure it's disease-free and it's quickly convertible back to a good playing conditions. And we'll, when the announcement's made that things are ready, we'll gear up and make sure it's as short a lead time as possible to get people back out there under whatever restrictions are then put in place on what it is. And I think there will be some. I think the fields will be pretty limited. It'll probably mean we'll have maybe no comps. We might even, in fairness, have to restrict how often members play each week if we want all our members to have the benefit of the course. We haven't discussed this, but I think it's something we need to talk about if we're only looking at limited numbers we're allowed out on the course. Most people these days aren't working, so let's try to be fair for those who are and aren't.
But we just need to wait till we see what happens with this.
Exactly right, who knows? Yeah, every day's a different day. Yeah. Every day's another 100 emails. It hasn't stopped.
Well, that's great. All right, well, Gaz, you've done an immense amount of work since we've gone into lockdown to make sure everything's kept on top. So, on behalf of the board and all the members, mate, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
For everybody else, we'll try and endeavour to maybe over the next couple of weeks to have another one of these updates, just to let everyone know what's going on, and hopefully that won't be in the too foreseeable future. We'll be back out and see each other face to face.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, guys.
Right, no worries. Should we go and grab a couple of putters now?
Better not.
Right. Cheers.
So, Jeff, what have you guys been up to since we've been in lockdown?
Pretty busy. We started off with verti draining the greens, so they're all been renovated. We went down 7.5 inches deep, so we got a good depth. We've since fertilised them with a custom fertiliser to help with the amendments that were lacking in the profile, and they've come up quite well, so we're very pleased with that because we've got about 50 mil of rain after we've done that. After that we verti drained all the surrounds, so they're all been done, and we've just completed the tees today, so all the tees have been done as well. The greens will get dusted next week, weather permitting. So, and other than that, it's just mainly just tidying up, a bit of cutting, rolling greens, trying to keep the place tidy, so that when things do operate, get back to the operation, we'll be into the swing of it. All happy times.
All right, Jeff, can you give us a bit of an update on what's happening on the 4th hole?
Yep. So we've been fertilising this area every 2 weeks to try and pump it as hard as we can to get it back into play. We've taken down all the barriers. The cover's coming up quite nice. It's starting to knit in. It's really really firm. So by the time you get back to playing on the course, it should be open for play. We're at the moment verti draining the fairway. That's just to relieve all the compaction that's been happening over here while the works have been on, and the heavy traffic that's been brought over it. The seed over here on the rough is the birds have attacked it pretty hard, so we've had to reseed that, put netting up to try and keep them off it. So hopefully we'll get a better strike and we'll get some sort of cover on it before winter. Up at the tee area there, we haven't done much as yet. We've got a spray around where the landscapes are going. We've got mulch. We've got 200 cubic metres of mulch up at the shed, ready to bring down to put around the tees. All our plants are up at the shed. They're ready to be brought down and planted. So when we get a bit more time and a few more staff, we'll be able to plant around the tees and finish all that off, and it'll be all ready for play. So it's looking really good. Very pleased the way it's come up, and hopefully it'll be a lot better outcome than what it was before we started.